Adam has been a fan of fantasy his whole life and loved that these stories could take him into their world. He has tried to write for decades, and after losing everything and falling into depression, one of the characters from his fantasy series came to him. He started to write as the rest of the characters and storyline came to him. This became a self-healing journey for him, and people that have read his novels have said that his stories made them feel as if they could take on the world. Adam is extremely blessed to be able to share his stories with lovers of fantasy. And on today's episode of Auto Interview, it's my utmost pleasure and joy to have on the show today, Adam G. Schwartz. Welcome on the show, Adam.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing very fine. It's exciting to have you on the show today.
Oh, cool. I'm very, very excited as well. Very happy.
Yeah. So, Adam, could you tell us about your book, The Beginning of the End, which is a Fox book in a series of the Ramula Chronicles books? How does this book come about? What inspired you to write The Beginning of the End?
The first novel, The Beginning and the End, I was inspired to write that, as you said before. I lost everything. I went into depression. And one
Wow.
of the characters from the story came to me, and I just started to write. And the more I wrote, the more other characters in the storyline came to me. So the first novel turned out to be sort of like a self help book for people that read it and like fantasy. So it's pretty fast paced book, fast paced reading, I should say.
Yeah, that's great. And I was going to ask you, how long are you taking us through this series? Like you have the first, and I think you have the second. Would you be having a third one, or is it only a two-book series?
It's a it's a 6 book series. Goes for
Wow.
6 novels. I've published the first two, and the third one will be published at the end of the year
Wow.
by December. Yes,
That's quite amazing to know. That's pretty much a lot of work to do on your own end. Now, I also love to ask you, for readers who haven't read the book yet, and of course, without giving much information away, could we have a sneak of what you'd expect picking up the book?
yes. Romulus's peaceful world as a farmer is shattered when he's pulled into the middle of a magical civil war between two worlds,
Hmm.
and he finds out that he's the only one with the power to stop the army from coming to his world. So he has to try to find out how to make his magic work. So that's basically the premise of the story of the first book.
Wow, that's quite lovely to know. And even knowing itself that it's a fantasy genre, that itself it's something quite intriguing. Now, Adam, I'm also curious to know if you experienced any challenges in the process of writing your book. If there is any, could you share with us what challenge it is and how you ultimately overcame it?
The challenges were making all the stories, all the characters, and the story flow properly. It was hard at first, but I had a schedule I kept. I write like 3 hours every day,
Wow,
and in that style of writing, I would end up having 3 months to finish the first manuscript. And when you
wow.
write the first manuscript, you can't be perfect. Just let it go how it's going to go, because then you can come back and fix your mistakes in the second and third draft.
Yeah, that's quite amazing to know. I love your take on that. And now,
Cool.
Adam, there's this question that I love asking authors that come on my show. I've been
Yeah.
fascinated about how writers, especially novelists like yourself, craft long sentences and bring words together in a way that it eventually makes a great novel. This always leaves me thinking about exactly they got their inspiration and ideas. Now, as far as writing is concerned, I'd love to ask you, how do you get your ideas and inspiration?
My inspiration comes from reading other fantasy books,
Wow.
uh, other fiction books, biographies, but I've always had a very good imagination. I'm always thinking of things that can happen, or dragons or creatures. Ever since I was young, always a lot of thoughts running through my head. And so I just write them down, and sometimes they turn out to be really good ideas, and people like them. So I'm happy for that.
Hmm, that's great to know. I love your take on that also. And now, Aidan, would you like to tell us a bit about Sanctuary, which is the second book in the series of Ramula Chronicle books? Would you love to talk about that too?
Before we go too far, this is book one, the beginning
Hmm,
of the end,
beautiful cover.
and this is the second one, Sanctuary. A
Hmm,
nice color again. Sanctuary is part two of Rumless's journey. The should I say, the stakes of his story in trying to save the world has gone a lot deeper, and he's forced to grow as a person, and he needs to train an army to fight the enemy army coming from the other world.
hmm,
But it's basically, it focuses a lot on the growth of the characters. They discover more magic within themselves. Like Romulus has two daughters. They both discover magical abilities, and that's a bit dangerous for young people to have magic and not understand the dangers and the consequences of using the magic without the proper training. So there is training of using magic in Sanctuary as well. So that is a good thing.
hmm. That's quite lovely to know. I love your take on that. Now, apart from the beginning of the end and Sanctuary, do you have any other works you've authored or maybe currently working on?
I'm working on book three, which is The Legion Has Come.
Wow.
And that's, a lot of people say that's like the beginning of the end is very good reading. The second one, Sanctuary, a lot better. And the third one, better again. That's in proofreading stage at the moment.
Oh,
So after that's finished in about a month, I'll be writing another novel, uh, a standalone novel. Do you understand standalone?
yeah,
Just
I
a novel by
understand.
itself. Oh,
Sure.
sorry, a fantasy novel. Um, I've got my fantasy series, six novels. Then outside of that, I've got the ideas for 14 standalone fantasy novels, which I want to write.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a lot there.
yeah, I know, I know. All these ideas, I have to put them down on the paper.
Wow, that's quite a lot, actually. I love the sound of that. Sound like a lot of work, a lot of, thinking, a lot of writing. I wish you good luck with that. That's really impressive to know.
But everything I do, the first two drafts, I do writing by hand. I don't do on the
Oh,
computer, all handwriting. So yeah.
oh, wow. That's great to know. Now, could you
Hmm.
tell us what publishing is like for a published author like yourself? Are there any challenges you've encountered ever since it got published?
It's harder than writing a novel. I thought writing a novel was hard, but the publishing and the marketing and getting your name out there as a new author is extremely hard.
Hmm.
But you've got to have a lot of passion. See, I got, as a new author, I have my book in 10 bookstores in Australia, and that's a very rare
Hmm.
thing to do. That they don't like new authors, independent authors with a small publisher. That's rare that I can get my book, but I called up for like 5 months, kept talking to the bookshops, and then they let my book come in.
Hmm.
But I go to a lot of uh, fairs, market stalls, and then I sell my books there because
Hmm.
people, they see my passion when I talk about my novels, and then they buy the books. I had the Comic Con in Melbourne in June. I'm going to the Christmas one.
Oh.
I'm going to Sydney to the Australia Book Fair. I think that is the
Hmm.
biggest book fair in the Southern Hemisphere. So I'm doing things like that just to get my name out there, just to
Hmm.
meet people. And then they're, through talking to me, they're interested in my books. So that is good.
Yeah. I love your sound. I love the sound of that. Sounds very intriguing to me. That's quite
That's cool.
impressive that you're doing that. Really very important for your marketing and getting one's name out there. Now, is there anything that you love to share with the viewers about your books that we did not mention in this interview and you'd love the viewers to know?
Yes, with my books, people that have read my books the way I do, the way I write about the characters and the story, about halfway through the first book, the beginning of the end, people say to me that they forget they are reading a book, they think they are watching a movie, or they're in my world, in the world I've written about. So they're always they think they're walking next to the characters and they want to yell at the characters, "Oh, you're going to get in danger or something's going to happen." And then they realize, "Oh, I'm reading a book." So that's good. It's like fully immersive. They think, they
Mm,
believe that inside my world, which is, I'm very happy that I can do that.
absolutely. Yeah, that's a great description. They feel immersed in the character. Yeah. I actually love books that makes me feel that way.
Um, and when I talk to people, I give them everyone that buys my book, I give my business card. Here's my
Mm,
phone number. Please call me. People send me text and messages, the characters they like and what parts they like and don't like. And I'm like, "Oh, that is good. I want to have a personal connection with from the author to the reader because
mm,
that's important to me. So I'm getting
absolutely.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great thing. I love that. That's very
Hmm.
impressive to know. Now, Adam, as a published author, what sort of advice do you have for other writers who are still struggling with publishing a book? What would you advise people in this category?
Believe in yourself. If you want to put a book out there, do everything you can to make your dreams come true.
Mm,
Look for someone that has done what you want to do, contact that person and say, "This is what I want to do. You have done this thing. Can you please help me on my journey?" And
mm,
the number one thing is always believe in yourself, because when you grow and you want to make your dreams come true, it gets hard before your dream comes to life. Just like a flower growing through a crack in the ground. It's very hard at first, but then it opens up and it blooms. Always believe in yourself and you can make your dreams come true. And then
absolutely.
other people that are above you and that have done the same thing, they will do what they can to help you.
Mm,
That is how I started. I spoke to authors and I said, "I'm just writing by hand. Can you help me?" And they gave me encouragement. So I'm very happy for that one. Yeah.
yeah. That's great. That's very great. Thank you so much for your advice. And I'm hoping that viewers, including myself, would love to utilize it. Now, Adam, in case we have some interested viewers who are watching this interview and they would love to get a copy of your books, on what platform are they available on for purchase?
They're available on Amazon, Barnes and Noble. I also do the audio book. I
Wow.
voice the for book one and two. I've done that one, and book
Wow.
three I'm doing in 2 months' time because I can do my emotions. When I
Hmm.
talk, I really get the emotions, so I enjoy doing that.
Hmm.
But everything is available through my website, but through Amazon, Barnes and Noble, anywhere that sells books. It's on basically every single platform. So I'm lucky for that one.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. And I love authors who recite and narrate their own books because there's this mode of emotion that you get to put there that your other audiobook narrator might not be able to catch, or depict very well. So that's quite lovely to know.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah, and I left a link in the discussion part of this interview where interested viewers can get a copy of Adam J. Schult's books directly on Amazon. So thank you so much, Adam, for accepting the invitation to be featured on P English Literature. It's awesome having this conversation with you.
cool, cool. Likewise, I'm blessed. Thank you for accepting me.
Yeah,
I've
it's
seen
my
your videos, and I'm very, very honoured. Very honoured. Thank you.
yeah, it's my pleasure as well.